Okay, is our MC, who's been so gracious yesterday and today, Virginia, are you out there? Hey, Virginia? Here she comes. Can we give it up for Virginia? Come on now, come on.
Hi, I'm just going to read one, change it up a little bit here. It's called The Things We Do. After losing their last beloved cat, he said, "No more. I cannot take the endings." She said, but turned to feeding the squirrels instead, naming them Tubby, Jumbo, Stubby, Red, Laker, Little Ben, Patch, Twiggy, and so on. The bullies always named Kevin. For 20 years, twice a day, bounty from the deck. Peanuts, walnuts. On Christmas, she made tiny peanut butter and pecan sandwiches. Yes, I know I am responsible for the squirrel obesity epidemic in the neighborhood, she said, but there are worse things. They are now the size of carry-on luggage and do not bother taunting cars with the squirrel death ballet. They just stop and glare. It is remarkably effective. I think when he dies, she will get 6 cats, and every morning will turn to his side of the bed and say, "Ha!" to the pillow once known as his, now covered in cats, none of them named Kevin.
Okay. So how this works is we're just going to go until people are tired to go. You come up if you'd like to read, sit in the chair. Clyde, you're actually can go first because your name was still finishing up if you want to do one poem. And how it is everybody just does one poem and then you can get back in line, sit back down if nobody gets up. And if someone hasn't read and they come up, then they get the first seat. And
yeah, you missed CC.
I missed my spot.
You missed your spot, so you can go up to Clyde.
You missed the spot.
So why don't you sit down, you be in the chair, and then you can go next.
All right, okay.
One poem each.
All right, those are the chairs. Those are the chairs. You did.
How the hell did this come about?
It's musical chairs.
The intro to this poem is driving around with my 26-year-old son, and this guy crosses the street in front of us. I told this story last night. He's crippled. He's got a crutch. He's got a hat at a tilt, and he can barely put one foot in front of the other. But he makes it all the way across the street, and he's proud. I looked at my son and said, "What was that?" And he said, "He's peacocking." The peacock. The peacock drags its tail behind, and string-like feathers drape the ground until a threat or mating urge alerts the muscles in its spine. Rustle, sigh, rows of turquoise eyes arch up and out, their rims green-brown, their cores blue-black. In one long surge, the tail bends straight, its colors shine. 90 allies stare from the fan without a blink. What sense can tell if they're for show or if they're live? The peacock struts. See this, see that. An inner mind has touched each cell, and each one blossoms with an eye.
Okay, I want to apologize for not being here earlier. I was doing some little interview project in the back there. Talk to me about that if you're interested in opening your mind on the wild. My book is The Open Microphone. This is a study of free speech. Thousands of open mics. I was tapped by life to create 3 chapbooks 20 years ago. Scared Sacred, about getting up here and doing just this. And being scared for the first time, and I think that's sacred. And then the second part is Death of an Ego. You've already read one poem, you got your applause, and now you're God, and you got a little journey ahead of you. So that Death of an Ego is next. And then after that, there's a section in here called What Manner of Character. Those 3 chapbooks are now together, Ron Whitehead is one of the people that I'm graced with a quote on the back. They're here. Kathleen Hulser is here. She helped me put this whole book together, and it's dedicated to her. And I'm going to read along the poet from in this book, if I can find the page really quickly. You know what? I'm going to read the Jack of Poets, because the only poem in this book is literally sort of centered around a person rather than all people and all of us. And this experience was Jack Powers, who I gave 10 years of my life without missing a Monday to a physical open mic, the Stone Soup Poets. And in honor of him, I'm going to read Jack of Poets, which is actually, there's a famous, I don't know who did it, maybe Dylan. There's this famous poster of a Jack of Hearts, and it's about one of the famous Greek poets. For some reason, those two things just popped into my head. Back to the poem. Thank you. I'm sorry I took so much time to do that. The Jack of Poets dealt with the art of voices feeding. You, at the end of all moments that die. To guard hunger's right to speak free of truths starving, a recipe to savor the heart of time. The air of soup gives, as the wind of words carry. And they came one by one to this word of mouth feast. Each came to add to the soup's endless giving. Amongst them were those with end of the world ears, questions on madness, on what peace of mind is, for sounds of hope birthing and the soul of words resting deep inside the life of inspiring alive. And so came the contributors with the gift of precious listening. Not hungry to share, just happy to donate. No need for a portion of speaking one's poetry. Others to read, saying, I'm hungry enough to be here my will, eating my own words, to stay the crest of my debts resting here upon this stage, to crave what reveals my mind to myself, for you and for me and for the blank page, awaiting what is empty. Admiring my donation here is more than my presence, less than my pride, and beyond my self-importance. As the listeners surround our voices to hear through the quiet mind of receiving, I'd never think so much of my life position to believe my life will, to believe my life will never know such a hunger, admiring. What courage to admit words in public, to know nothing, and the hand of the voice can still feed you. As the Jack of Poets once said, they are willing to be scared, to give and receive their love-exposed fears, alive for the sum of living to nourish the lone soul of you and the soul of the planet we die on. Thank you very much. Thank you, National Beat Poetry Festival 2023, and our guest lecturer, which I met, Clive, here. That's wonderful to hear everyone. Thank you. And the last night, here's our star from last night.
This one's called Maybe There's Another Way. Maybe they would still be with us if they had had better insurance, filled out the right forms. If they would have just had the right insurance, maybe they would still be with us. Maybe if they didn't live on top of that chemical waste dump, things might have turned out differently for them. Maybe drinking the water with all the oil in it, and there were those chunks. They said they didn't mind the chunks. They said they were a little freaked out by all the birds falling out of the sky. I mean, the birds are just falling out of the sky, piling up on the ground. They were worried about who was going to pick them up. If that is what really is important to you, we can overnight ship it. I wouldn't worry about following the recipe. I would just throw in a little extra. And I think that what really matters is you have to have the right yoga mat. We all know if you don't have the right yoga mat, it's just not going to work. And yes, it is good to be first in line. So if you're going to do it, you might as well be first in line. Try not to push. You don't have to push. There really is enough for everyone, even though they try to tell us that there's not enough for everyone. For those of you feeling hopeless, finding yourself thinking about jumping, I would like to point over here that there's a very high cliff. But maybe you would like to just come over and take a view and we could talk. For everyone else, you can break up into committees and you can all try to do things, and we know where that goes. We have some crafts, and we have paper and markers. We have lots of glue for those who would like to express themselves with art. Since it seems no one is listening to our words, maybe making art would inspire them to think outside the box. And I know some people get really nervous when you talk about doing art, so don't worry, we have you covered. We have art by numbers. But for everyone else, maybe there is another way.
I'm going to read one from my book, Sunrise Ruby, and this is called Things Get Lost. Things get lost, memories fade, too much history to remember, too many ancient kings, dust entombed cities, battles won and lost and won again, countries and capitals renamed. Parchment crumbles, stone cuts soften, ancestors fall from view. We forget their names. Beautiful names chosen by careful mothers, bestowing benedictions on babies for a plentiful, happy future. And so today, before things get lost, say their names. Brianna, Philando, Trayvon, Ahmad, Tatiana. Harmonic syllables rolling out in a cadence of hope, unmet in this world. Say their names.
So, when you're a firefighter in your own hometown, when you're an EMT, oftentimes you run into patients that you know. And this girl, Andrea, was my brother's best friend. It was his little sister. So this one's for Andrea. Andrea. She dirty, blonde, wild, motorcycle with spurs, studs down her sides, no exit. She be a hole way deep where starfish hide forever. She trickle red in sweet, sticky rivulets. Somebody's sister, somebody love, don't go. She blue ocean eyeball, rising through surface, one last breath below. She strapped and bound, held aloft by stones, taken down, carried home.
Okay. So this poem could be anywhere in the world. And when I wrote it, it reminds me of the Middle East. So it doesn't really have a location. Charmed by a spirit. Pass from one ghostly abode to another, weight of pain, torturous, unethical. Random opponents forced out, mired down as if suffocated, a foreign shelter. A stop sign shakes like a flagrant flame, more than fire in a kiln. It rains ghosts instead, count backward, fierce winds howl. A big, bad boogeyman will break them or they will break him. A brown leather key case found, worn by years, friction, cracked cowhide. Key unlocks all pain, unresolved accusations confirm an acquittal. Sand is warm, residue more than ashes, charmed by a spirit. Fruit of the palm, salt of the sea, pink roses bloom endlessly. They revel in a better version of themselves. Transcendence, reincarnation. Thank you.
So this one goes back to 1991. It's kind of a love poem. Everett was. He met forevermore as she danced upon the shore. He asked if he may be as she, in frolic carefree, as future must be. Forevermore, not a word did she say. Looked towards the sky as if to pray. Offered her hand with a smile of glee. She knew then that he would be like she. Ever was, not a word did he say. Took hold of her hand without delay. They strolled upon the shores of time, silently content, their paths entwined. Hourglass sand between their toes, going where it is that a moment goes. They then became one entity, one timeless moment, a long time sea. The past and future took their wedding vow. One ever-present instant, they are now.
I wrote a series of haikus earlier this year and haven't yet published them, so this is what we got so far. I'd like to read just a couple of excerpts of Rumors from Dead Lips. Answers came to me. Oh, yeah, it's a series of haikus. I did mention that. Okay. Answers came to me, sun-drenched, hazy, in a dream one warm afternoon. Deciding to doze, to reflect, rest, reveal, questions need to heal. Try to get back there, where the goddess speaks to me and she calms my soul. Truth, unknown secrets, somewhere under these blankets she tucked them away. Like a grain of sand, a speck hidden, forgotten, wisdom of a pearl. Laying on my back, I woke myself with a snore. I kept on snoring. Which goddess was it in my ear, bewitching me, laughing at my mind? Eyes on the feathers, spies feed, Hera's jealousies, pomegranate seeds. The goddess eats them, but I choke on seeds of truth, tart juices stain. The taste, bitterness, it lingers and dries my mouth. What was the message? Secrets in the sands, in Egyptian pyramids, in my evil eye. These things taunted me, they haunted my evening's thoughts, temptresses of truth. The smallness we find when we look upon the stars, and how powerless. Acts of resistance grow from generosity of the little things. Nina Simone croons about a new day, a new life, and of feeling good. But there's pain there too, and it's cruel, so feeling good is like a rebellion. Kali reaches me, she's grotesque and beautiful. We fly through my dream. More like my nightmare, we view the world as a whole. It's all so fragile. Sea nymphs remind me there is great joy in my life, but this is a choice. Deep breaths in and out. Please take me back to that place where they speak to me. Rich fabrics and hues, the ripples of tapestries, the swirling of skirts, forbidden harem. She's alone among the others. The Sultan chooses her. Cracks in the pavement, scattered seeds of deities grow dandelions. Mary Magdalene, hooker with a heart of gold? Hardly, just a wife. We are the goddess, the breeze moves my tapestry. Once again I fall into the here and the now, into my very own bed, into consciousness. There's a vague taste left. Meaning lingers in my breath, stale memory. Rumors from dead lips, taking the shapes of haikus, is all I have left. Thank you.
One of the first workshops I was in, they told me I wasn't using metaphors enough.
What'd you say to that?
So here's the poem. I shot out of San Diego like a cruise missile, guided by red laser taillights, fueled on caffeinated elixir and adrenaline at 3 a.m. after 4 hours sleep. Injected steel and glass projectile into a freeway that resembled strings of cubic zirconia and rhinestone. Starred sky revolved into daylight. Morning found me carving circles through Compton. Sun sparkled diamond light into parked car windows on trash-lined, potholed streets where the old red line station house still stands, saved from destruction by an African-American woman's hand. Spires, watchtowers rise proud, anchored concrete over incessant iron. Needle columns punched defiantly into blue rain sky. 7:30 a.m. after Watts, 1965. After Rodney King, 1992. Community Action Council fused multiracial human beings into a movement of one over a breakfast of passionate grits, powerful fried chicken, intense biscuits, and furious hot coffee. Multicultural psyche collected to bridge bureaucrats who promised everything but dispensed only uninhabited time and spoonfuls of action mixed with bitter herbs and hope. Flashed uptown, neon burning my unsunglassed eyes through brown LA smog, and I poured into a room where a black man slept. Knew the stripes of injustice because he ate them every day for lunch in his 3-flight Hollywood hotel walk-up. 11 a.m. I climbed up the hill to see the god of architecture, but he wasn't home today. He left his temple in the care of metal dogs who were busy digging in his front yard, holes big enough to run trains through. I complained when they said I couldn't wait. They threw me out anyway. Fortunately, I came prepared with Florida water from the Botanica, which I sprinkled liberally around the Aztec doorpost to keep the evil spirits out. This freeway through LA has my ass dragging on asphalt, racing metal monsters jockey for position. 7 lanes of cars with crumpled fendered smiles on 4 lines of road, engines belching fossil fuel vapors that paint a thin brown line between sky and sea. Wearily, I bulldozed my way back to Dago, my tongue hanging out, panting like a tired lion after a chase. Dropped off the package at Hotel 911, 9 p.m. Fell exhausted into Soho and almost drowned in a cup of house coffee. I spent too much for gas. They say they're going to pay me next time. Next time I cruise to L.A.
I love poetry. Yes, it has been 27 years, a wild roller coaster ride of ups and downs. Hairpin turns where we thought we were going to be thrown off the tracks. But we didn't jump. We held on. We still hold on to each other with more depth. Amazed at how much time has gone by, amazed that we still learn new things about each other, committed to being old together, getting old together as we sit across from each other while checking our own emails. I am sent an email and a link. A poet is letting everyone know that they have a new book out. And going to the link, I am suddenly taken to their promo picture. And it was a woman in a very, very, very short skirt with a tattoo that ran up her leg and up to the curve of her ass and was just hidden slightly by the skirt. And my loved one looks over and sees me staring at the screen as I'm trying to read the rest of the tattoo. And they say, "Have you found something interesting?" And I say, "I love poetry."
Jesus 9, 11 bits of cloth, string peanuts. A pearl is grit covered with spit. Jesus 9 doesn't rhyme with God. Jesus 9 means something else. This Jew knows his shoe is more cardboard than leather. He knows Tessier 9 is 2 points from conversion. He knows this drop of blood is worth more than water mixed with wine. Jesus 9 is nobody's fool. He has tasted his own urine under the freeway. He draws pictures in the dirt that wash away in the rain. He laughs at the weather. Jesus 9 won't call you on your cell. Jesus 9 doesn't drive a minivan. Jesus 9 just wants to be left alone. He eats scorpions and wild honey, just like his cousin, John 3. Remember, you asked to be the sacrifice. He talks to people you can't see. One day, without fanfare, Jesus 9 was replaced. Nobody noticed, except a couple of crazy hippie chicks who ran around all day, screaming and crying. He was Jesus 9, he was Jesus 9. Finally, the cops had to Section 12 them. A few days later, I walked down under the freeway. I noticed that the stone had been moved. Inside the hovel, there was a pile of filthy rags in the corner. The stench was staggering. I heard a voice behind me. "What are you doing here? Get away from here. Jesus 9 is gone." It was the 2 hippie chicks with some guy I didn't recognize. They pushed past me with a can of gasoline. Somehow the guy seemed to disappear, and the 2 hippie chicks were in there splashing the gas around everywhere and chanting something about Jesus 9. I beat feet out of there and screamed, "I'm calling the cops." I heard the explosion as I ran back up the hill. The cops came and so did the fire department. They never found the guy, or the two hippie chicks. Jesus 9 was never heard from again, but I hear there's someone in the park who calls himself Jesus 10.
I'd like to dedicate this poem to the mosquitoes in the yard.
Yeah, dude. There's a lot of things you're dedicated to.
Unwinding. In the meantime, this is a lean time, a mean time, as well as an in-between time, a sometimes sublime time, a the beat goes on time, and please, not another rhyme time. While Facebook sighs that wise Linda Paston has eluded time, left behind ethics and dogs as temporal threads unravel like Penelope's dire tapestry, as it has to be. This is a blind time, an often unkind time, a strict mind and behind time. So take care and be kind, for the future is mind, and there is no rewind.
I keep flipping through and trying to decide what to read. Conclave Dreamland Speakeasy. And when I pulled into the driveway, right away thoughts of comfort lay in my queen-size bed, led by the shedding of this bra, so I can gnaw on things red, perhaps raw, things said, things bled, made thaw inside of me, under my bedspread in a future hidden stage, where we shred awe of how we survived dread, and instead stand so brave, oh so brave, so grand what you gave in this conclave dreamland, to stand and shave away just a little fear, a strand, and share the glare of the spotlight tonight.
Dead ends. Distracted, I call in too late, and my absence isn't excused. Even so, when I show up for Thursday's grand jury, the court administrator somehow already spread news with quick efficiency to other jurors that Mom died the morning before, because everyone either said or mouthed a soft sorry while looking to pick lint off their pants, and a thick, awkward kindness surrounds me for the duration. I take meticulous notes, as I do for every indictment, still mindful of instructions to appear as if we are meeting a witness's gaze, while in fact, direct eye contact is against protocol. The next witness arrives, incriminating her son for murder. She says it is her moral duty, and as if in final thought claims her mothering has now vanished, and tightens her grip on a handkerchief. Air smells odd, worst moment of silence ever heard, as she straightens her posture, steps down from deliberation. I want to abandon rules, meet her aching gaze, match desperation, but maintain duty to end.
All right.
Good comments, son.
Call yourselves poets? Get your asses
I was afraid I was going to be the last one, and I had to read all night.
Yeah. Come on. Keep it going a few more, man. Somebody's got to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Couple more.
24-hour poetry reading, right?
Insomnification. Let's do it.
This poem, this is the only poem I really have to explain to people to make sure that they don't think I'm a serial killer or something.
I thought you were.
It started, I went into the coffee shop, wrote a poem, and it started out to be about this guy named, what was his name? Darn, who usually remember his name? Anyway, he was going to be executed in San Quentin in 2 weeks. And I found out that it was my second cousin that he had shot. He had robbed the place, and then he went and shot 2 kids and ate their hamburger, and then he was caught after that. But that was part of this poem. The second part of this poem is a poem by Sam Shepard about a contract killer who was writing a poem to his son about what he did, his job. And the third part was a news article on the news about a person getting shot on the way out from a robbery. The further you get from the commission of an act, the safer you feel. I recoiled and underbridged thoughts rolling joints with thick green dollar bills that smelled musky when they burned fluorescent. Hissing as the rain dripped from the brim of my dime store Stetson. 2 pints of whiskey finally stopped my railroad thoughts from clicking warnings. Dull brain always sharpens fear to fuzzy midnight, softly fogging the street lamp of safety that comes with the progression of hours. I didn't want to think about the 2 dead kids anymore, the terror in their eyes when they knew that tomorrow would not break their sleep, that the graveyard shift would end in flowered eulogies. I left the store with 3 pints of Jack Daniels, remembered laughing. I often laughed after a killing. When I looked up to the wall and saw the camera on the wall, I often laughed after a killing. When I looked at when I burned my vision into the videotape camera. Shoot. Let me start here. Let me see. I often laugh after a killing. When their eyes grow silent and they stare into other worlds that were not. Shoot. Hang on. I left it inside. Hang on.
Intermission. A lot better than
It was going in to kill someone.
It's intermission. I'll be right back. That's a big intermission.
2 pints to take me off to sleep and rest my weary head. A cup of tea and off to bed will keep this heart from dread. The night will come and hold me here within her arms so sweet. She'll make me dream and softly sing me off to peaceful wanderings. And if tomorrow should greet my eyes to open another day, I'll sip another pint or 2 and then be on my way. I'll do the coffee later.
I need a pen. I went to the bank. I don't have any money to put in the bank. But I went to the bank because they offer free pens. But after a while, they notice that every time I come into the bank, they have to restock all the pens. Some banks have put chains on their pens, so I have to keep finding new banks. It would be a lot easier if I didn't lose the pens.
A moth is born. Why not break free from this cocoon? Feel the sun, see the moon. There is nowhere to go but the sky. The wind is a dream, and I have nothing to wear but these wings. I am crepuscular. I am not the beautiful one, with vibrant color and chrysalis. I am earth tone, brown and gray. I am the light between, drawn to flame. I go there to dance with the stars. The fire is my love. The flame does not touch me, but I feel the heat. Sparks shoot out in patterns all around me. The smoke stings my eyes. If I should burn these wings, who would care but me? What would it matter if I die? For today, I am born to fly.
What, your books are in here?
Restless poems. Stuck in this cubicle of page. Wanting to get out of here. Wannabe influencers. Eager for readers. Upstairs, in the dark, smoky back room of Skull, regrets of mistakes are living in captivity. Stupid, mean things said and done. Jealousy, greed, avarice, all playing poker. Embarrassing prisoners of shame. Sometimes the misgivings get loose and come down into the living area, proceeding to hurt and haunt joy, telling the poems they are worthless. The verses push remorse back up into hiding, not to give up, or not to give in, nor up. A zealous poem shoves aside place settings and sits at the dining room table of his social media friend, who is being politely coerced to eat all these nutritious overdone words, even as this batch tastes bitter.
Now I know who all the poetry addicts are here. The devil will take me someday. The further you get from the commission of an act, the safer you feel. I recoiled into underbridged, thought-swirling joints with thick green dollar bills that smelled musky when they burned fluorescent, hissing as the rain dripped from the brim of my dime store Stetson. 2 pints of whiskey finally stopped my railroad thoughts from clicking warnings. Dulled brain always sharpens fear to fuzzy midnight. Softly fogging the street lamp of safety that comes with the progression of hours. I didn't want to think about the 2 dead kids anymore, the terror in their eyes, and I knew that tomorrow would not break their sleep. I left the store with 3 pints of Jack Daniels, remembered laughing. Or was that the time before? I often laugh after a killing, when their eyes grow silent and stare into other worlds, after the wad of green crackles in my hand. The only witness I leave is the camera eye on the wall. Sometimes I take off my mask and smile, burning my image into its videotape heart. It never smiles back.
Hi, I've enjoyed listening to you all. I came a little bit late, but my name is Kathleen Hulser. I'm from the Bronx or from Cornwall Bridge, depending on what day it is. So I'll just read one short thing. It's called Open Drawer. The open drawer smiles at a red sock climbing out. The indirect light of late-night conversations draws a circle around togetherness. One sock complements another. Words simply fit, happy to be next to each other. Explanation is far too relaxed to sit up. Pillows, mute echoes. A warm wave of talk melts bones and bodies. Thank you.
I wrote this today. I want to let it go, turn my whole life inside out, hop on a train and do it again. Those specters are calling, and I want to see those ghosts again. They live on the West Coast, where we go to hide from grief, ourselves. And I have some things to mourn, things to cry, no, wail about, banshee-like. I sang and danced to the Bay of Fundy. Now I long to touch the Columbia River with leftover sadness, to flow into the Pacific. Cygnus flies west, and I am a speck of dust. Let the swan, star, show the underbelly, connect my coasts.
Super X, helmet gone, red buckets bleeding, the hammer clenched face, hairy claw smooth, pounding on some blue grass. Super S, Super S, pink flabby, bent over 4, pep talk now, being happy, I ain't taking no shit from what remains. Red ant, pounding her fists on the console, contortion flow, peanuts smile, tail wiggle. Symbol blonde bolts, bloody bolts of lightning. Blue genie, moaning. Thinking pain, pain is to win. Pain is green lumps of iridescent pain. Big almond Zed at the end of all rainbows. Purple whale, barking laughter mad. Thinking pain, pain is to win. Pain is green lumps of iridescent pain.
I see him every day, pushing shopping carts that clink clank over cracks in sidewalks. City stalkers, nomads of the 21st century. There's one too, Sue. She talks to herself. Remember she was prom queen. See there? How she turns away from her reflection in that plate glass window? She's wondering who the old wrinkled woman is. Did you hear her? Not me, not me, not me. And there's Mark the shark, flipping cars on the pavement. Come on, bro, just watch these cars. Slipping and sliding. I know that you win this time. You got them. Yeah. Which one? Which one? Oh, only one, bud. Later, dude. Show this guy around town. Oh, Betty over there. She wraps ribbons of old blankets around her head. Sings old church hymns, too. She can remember the words. Cancer treatment took all those savings she had left after the house was sold. There's Three-Finger Joe tipping out a bottle, rippled skyward. He squeezes his eyes shut against the sun. He's breathing lightly today, trying to hide the pain of 2 busted ribs. Damn punks, they would have messed with him 10 years ago. They kicked both their asses good. See those 2 missing fingers on his right hand? That's what ended his boxing career. It broke his spirit, spit him out of the streets of piss and booze. There's Wanda waiting over our shelter door. The 2 dirty-faced kids trying to hide her fear and humiliation, swelling on the side of her face. swearing silently to herself, it'll be the last time he's ever going to get hurt. The second time this month. She won't press charges. What can the cops do? I see them every day, and I know most of them. Well, the regulars anyway. They're just ordinary people, just trying to get by on what they got. Scraping like the rest of us. But most of them have to scrape a little harder, dig a little deeper down their soul, just to survive these days. Life's not easy. They're on the streets. Now, life ain't easy anywhere nowadays. Oh, it's someone waiting in the shadow, or waiting in the shadow where the street lamps don't shine, waiting just to bash your head in with a lead pipe. And for what? For what? These people ain't got nothing, man, but clothes on their backs. Buddy says he can see their spirits go. They always howl just like an old hound dog. Oh! Heard him howling a while ago. Over that way. Means you seen someone dead. You're sure when old buddy howls, someone's done gone to meet his maker. Yeah, it's about time to get in line for the mission. It's good food. You want to come? Well, maybe I'll see you around. Just more stories about people that live down here on the streets. Where only pennies shine in the hot sun.
All right.
Are we calling it a night?
Yeah. Yeah, you're going to read one more?
All right, one more since this is related to what Chris brought up. Billy deserved it. When the camera zooms in, what we see is a poet getting ready to read, and the poet says, I'm going to read a poem about bullying. And from the back of the room you hear, you whip. The poet recognizes the voice and says, is that you, Billy? And Billy yells back, yeah, I should have drowned you in the toilet in Dead End High School when I had the chance. The poet says, why don't you step into the light? I can't see if it's really you. And Billy steps into the light, and the poet says, yeah, it's you, all right. You still got that same smirk. And pulls out a gun and shoots Billy several times. The waitress runs up and what's going on here and looks down at the body, and the poet says, I shot Billy. She said, wait, is that Billy from Dead End High School? And the poet says, yeah. And she takes the gun out of his hand and she shoots Billy several times. The owner comes over and he starts yelling at the waitress, what the hell is going on, and takes the gun away and looks down at the body and then looks to everybody else and says, is that Billy from Dead End High School? And everybody nods and the owner shoots Billy several times. The police arrive. They ask who's the victim, and everybody says, it's Billy from Dead End High. And the two policemen pull out their guns and they shoot Billy several times. The body is taken away. No one is arrested. And the poet says that they can read now, and they don't need to read a poem about bullying. Instead, they'd like to recite a poem about how lonely they are. And then the waitress starts screaming, I tried to love you. I tried really hard and you pushed me away. You want to be alone. So the poet said, okay, I'm going to read a different poem about dealing with your shit in public.
Sure, I will.
All right, then we'll call it a night, and thank you, everybody. Let's hear it for Twilite closing it out.
All right.
I'm rain. I fall on you, love. I'm snow. I cover your ground. I'm wind. I'll take you down, love. I am night when the sun goes down. I'm leather, your whip and saddle. Cut your flesh down to the bone. I am stone. Grind you down, love, so you'll never have to be alone. I am sky. What can I do, love?
I could never turn my back on you. I will cry these tears of blood, love. I will cry these tears for you. I am fire and I burn forever. Just like I burn for you. I am fire and I burn forever. Forever loving you.
Whoa! Hey! Whoa!